Austin home prices are down over 20% from their peak. Inventory is the highest it's been in years. And right now, almost half of every active listing on the market has already cut its price. So here's the question I'm getting from literally every buyer, seller, and investor I talk to. Are we at the bottom? And my answer might surprise you. I'm Jordan Moorhead with the Moorhead Team at Keller Williams Realty here in Austin. We're investor first realtors. We run the numbers on every deal and we invest ourselves. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what the data is telling us right now. Stay with me because I'm going to share one number at the end that almost nobody is talking about, and it changes everything. So, just a little bit of context. To answer whether we're at the bottom, you need to understand where we've come from. Because what happened in Austin between 2020 and 2022 was not normal. It was one of the most extreme run-ups in American history in the real estate industry. At the peak in May of 2022, the average home in Austin sold for 681,939. The median hit 550,000. Homes were going under contract in 7 days, sometimes in 7 hours. Buyers were waiving inspections, paying $100,000 over asking, and still losing. If you tried to buy in that market and couldn't, you weren't doing anything wrong. It was just genuinely insane. This run-up was fueled by three things. The remote work migration. Austin is one of the top destinations in the country, near zero interest rates, and a feeding frenzy of investor activity. None of these conditions were sustainable. The Fed raised rates, the remote work wave crested, and the market had to correct. And it did. So median home price is now $426,220, down about 3% from a year ago, and down roughly 22% from the peak. The average is 577,113, off about 16% from the peak. And that is a real significant correction. Homes are sitting on the market for 84 to 85 days on average. Compare that to 7 days at the peak. And here's the stat that really tells you about the current mood of the market. 40%, 47% of active listings have already taken at least one price cut, almost half. Sellers who price based on 2022 comps are really learning the hard way that the market has moved on. Total active inventory is over 30,000 homes across the metro. That's up about 4.5% from a year ago. Months of supply is 5.5 metro wide, but it varies a lot by submarket. Some outer markets like Bastrop County are close to 8.5 months. Get out in Lago Vista, there's tons of listings. Williamson County, though, Round Rock is the tightest at about 4.6 months. So here's the signal everyone is missing. Here's the number I promised you at the top that almost nobody is talking about. Pending sales. That's contracts going under, homes going under contract. That's up 10.9% compared to Q1 2025. Not 1 or 2%, 10.9%, almost 11%. Think about what that means. Prices are still drifting slightly lower year over year. Inventory is still elevated. Buyers are coming off the sidelines in meaningful numbers. Demand is quietly returning, even while the headlines are still negative. This is historically what the bottom looks like. Transaction volume picks up before prices turn. The people who act when the activity data starts turning are the ones who buy near the bottom. The people who wait for the headlines to confirm the recovery are the ones who buy on the way back up. The media is way behind what we see here on the ground. Now, what's driving that demand recovery? A few things. The Austin Metro is still growing. We grew last year, a 2.1% metro growth rate. The city of Austin itself growth has slowed and it's even lost population, but the broader metro is still one of the fastest growing in the country. And the economic fundamentals are actually very strong. Tesla, Oracle, Apple, Meta, they all have significant Austin operations. Tech job creation here is expected to outpace the national average in 2026. So you have prices down over 20% from the peak, sellers who are motivated, and underlying demand that's actually starting to recover. that combination doesn't last very long. Now let's talk about what all of that actually means if you're an investor or buyer trying to make a move in Austin. I'm going to give you three specific scenarios. Number one, if you're a house hacker, you've been thinking about house hacking in Austin, buying a duplex or a property with an ADU and having a tenant cover part of your mortgage, right now might be the best window we've seen since 2019. You've got prices down nearly 20% from the peak. Got 47% of sellers who've already cut their price once and are psychologically ready to negotiate again. And you've got properties sitting for around 85 days on average, which means you've got some motivated sellers out there. If you can structure a house hack where a tenant covers most of your monthly payment, you're living dramatically below market rent while building equity at a compressed price point. And here's something a lot of people aren't talking about. The rentals are starting to get absorbed too. That means we're going to start to see rents go up here in the near future. Scenario two, buy and hold investors. For traditional buy and hold, I'd be looking at the outside periphery areas of the metro, like Round Rock, Kyle, and other submarkets. Yes, inventory is way higher out there, which is exactly why the buying opportunity is better. Prices are more compressed, competition is lower, and rents have actually held up better relative to the purchase price than they have here in Austin. The rates of return on some of these submarkets are approaching levels we haven't seen in Austin in 5+ years. If you're a long-term holder, you're buying at a discount with strong rental demand in a metro that's still growing very well. And when you buy in these areas on the outside of the metro, that's the areas that are growing better too. So I want to address the people who are waiting for prices to drop further. Maybe you're thinking, I'll wait another 6 months and see if they fall another 5%. Here's math on that. If pending sales are already up around 11%, competition is quietly returning. The negotiating power you have today, the ability to ask for seller concessions, price reductions, closing cost help, is going to shrink as more buyers return to the market. The window where you can move without competition is what you're giving up by waiting, and that has a real dollar value. I'm not saying rush into a bad deal. I'm saying the data shows that the window for optimal conditions is narrowing, not expanding. So to directly answer the question, has the Austin market hit bottom? My honest take is that we are very near the bottom on price. The correction has been real and it's been significant. I've been working in it for the last 3 years. We're off over 20% from peak and more depending on the area. But the activity data, pending sales up almost 11%, tells me the window for the optimal conditions is narrowing. The people who act in the next 3 to 6 months are going to look back at this window and realize they did the right thing. That's not hype. That's what the data says. If you want to book a free investor strategy call with my team, the link is right below here in the video. It's free. There's no obligation. In worst case, you walk away with more information than you had before. We also have one of the best meetups here in Austin for real estate investors. Look up the Austin Real Estate Investors Meetup on meetup.com and you won't be disappointed. If this was helpful, hit the subscribe button. I put out a new video every week on Austin market data and let you know what's going on here. We talk about house hacking tutorials and investor strategy too. Hit the bell so you don't miss it. Leave a comment below. Tell me, are you waiting to buy or are you actively looking right now? I read every comment and I'll reply. Again, this is Jordan Moorhead with the Moorhead Team here in Austin, and we're always here to help y'all. Have a great day.